Okay, good. Hi guys, I'm Michael. Thanks for coming. I'm surprised at the turnout, seeing how hot it is. I heard Google is going to give us all raketjes later, so get ready. I'm Michael. I look after solutions for Incubeta. I've been in the business for 14 years, which feels like a lifetime, but pretty good. What do we do as Incubeta? A few things to mention. We're all about outperform marketing. You guys have seen the video. I'm not going to repeat what's in the video, but ultimately, where we excel is really bridging the gap seamlessly between media, between creative, between technology, between measurement, and bringing that together for clients in ways that don't look at CTRs or vanity metrics, but in ways that really look at measurable, real business outcomes. That is really what excites us. A little bit of a very, very short story around that. We do that essentially in 3 different buckets for clients. We help clients achieve rapid results they can trust. Depending on how you look at the world, that's dealing with the brilliant basics or the boring basics, or maybe a little bit of both. Making sure you have the right foundation for success, making sure you can scale, and also making sure that all of this AI stuff can actually be done with the right foundation in place, right? We see lots of clients jumping to the endpoint without having the right foundation in place. It's really, really important to have. With the right foundation in place, we help clients drive things better with adaptive automation, right? That can be leveraging AI. It can really mean making those silos come together more and really making sure you and your clients or our clients can excel there. And we like to push the boundaries, right? I mean, once you have that foundation set up, once you have your little machine working, what more can we unlock? And generative growth really excels there. That's where we do our Gen AI pilots with clients. That's where we build conversational agents that really push their boundaries. That's really where we make a difference. Ultimately, and we've seen this slide many times, right? But we used to just look at media silos. We said you need to combine your search and your social and display. When I say that, it sounds really old-fashioned now, right? I mean, if you're not doing that, please leave. You know, I mean, we should be there by now, right? But ultimately, those are not necessarily the silos that we need to be looking at today, right? You have your data, you have your media, you have your creative, you have your tech, and you have your, I don't like the word, you have analytics sitting in there as well, right? I mean, ultimately, those need to come together. And ultimately, AI plays a role in how those come together. If you haven't broken those silos down, good luck trying to leverage AI. Good luck trying to leverage a lot of the stuff that we'll talk about today, because you're not setting yourself up for future success. We do that in 3 buckets, and I'll stop pitching Incubeta and we get to the fun stuff. We have our Outperform solutions that really drive our Outperform narrative. We help our clients through our Outmeasure solution, measure better, excel more, don't run MMM as a silo, run it always on, have a culture of experimentation. We help clients outsmart the competition, better media planning, better media plans, absolutely kick-ass execution, and we help our clients out-curate through driving the right performance creative at scale, leveraging AI where it makes sense, not just because it's a hype, and really driving things forward. That's the Outperform stuff I wanted to tell you guys about. Let's start talking about measurement, guys. Welcome to the post-single metric, post-single model, sort of with cookies measurement era, right? I mean, that's really where we stand. There's a lot going on in our space, right? And Google makes it sound like it's easy. Sometimes we make it sound like it's easy, but there's actually a massive amount of change happening, right? And we're dealing with a change almost in a situation where we're trying to make marketing come closer to actual business output a lot, right? And this is, I always like to use these cartoons because I think it's really relevant, right? I think as an industry, as measurement experts, sometimes we've over-measured to a certain extent, right? The fact that you have access to data, the fact that you can build a dashboard around something, does it always add business value? Are you just confusing people? Are you just building a dashboard because you can? I mean, there's a danger of over-measuring, right? I mean, ultimately you can over-optimize. You can tweak models for very small incremental gains. I mean, are you tweaking a model, or are you measuring a model to win 1%? Or are you focusing on the upper funnel to unlock a whole new audience demographic, right? There's a big, big danger there. There's misalignment, right? Measurement can tell you the wrong things. The amount of times I've sat down with clients where they looked at stagnating business, but they said, yeah, the data tells us that, you know? If you don't have an exploratory approach to that, if you don't look further, the data will always tell you that, right? So this danger of over-measurement is real. And the danger of throwing as many models as you can against something to find a story that you like also is real, right? But I am promising you guys a golden age. And not necessarily because of AI, but it's a little bit because of AI, right? Because ultimately AI will democratize how we look at measurement, how we visualize measurement, but specifically, I believe AI will democratize what measurement means. Right now, measurement almost is scientific, right? You're observing a certain state and you're referring back on it, and retroactively you're saying, was it correct or was it not correct? Guys, that's bullshit. That's not how we should be treating measurement, right? Measurement needs to become forward-looking, you know? Measurement has the opportunity to become super predictive, to start driving things forward much more, to become trend versus observation, right? So that's what we believe in. And we believe AI will drive that, you know? AI will bring the office of the CFO and the CMO together, and it will drive this uniform vision of how that's all done. No one needs another dashboard, and this is really important. I mean, the amount of Looker Studio dashboards we have in our business, I think it's horrendous, you know. And I'm being critical of ourselves here, but that's okay. I'm part of the same mistake. We believe we just build another Google Looker dashboard for our client. We build another one. We have some clients and have 30 Looker dashboards with us. Who the hell looks at 30 Looker dashboards, guys? That's a job in itself, right? But that's not real. So really condensing that stuff becomes so important, right? I'd rather steer clients on 2 or 3 metrics that really make a difference versus giving them 30 Looker dashboards with different vanity metrics for each little department, each little person. It's not the future, right? And again, AI can help us get there, right? So we need to really switch from the how and the what of measurement to really the why, and predominantly the why of the future, right? That's really what we need to do. We need to move to, I believe there's a future for dashboards, by the way. I'm not killing dashboards here, but dashboards need to be supplanted by the right level of conversational insight and the right level of storytelling, right? And we can do that with a whole bunch of A's and a whole bunch of I's, right? I mean, ultimately AI allows us to unlock the value of measurement better than ever before. That's what we believe. But there's a few conditions, right? You need to look at how accurate is what you do, how agile is what you do, how agnostic is what you do, how available is what you do, and how actionable is what you do. I promise, guys, I did not use AI to find everything that starts with an A. That's my own brain. And it needs to be insightful and impactful at the same time, right? This is really crucial. And this is the stuff I'll talk to you guys about today. And then the other fantastic speakers who know way more about this topic will go a lot deeper. I'm going to spend the next 20 minutes on this slide. I'm not. This is fascinating. So this was my little geek out moment when I looked at this. So, and this is the only Google propaganda slide we'll have today. I'm not sure if anyone knows about the ELO score. The ELO score is a score, I think, developed by a Hungarian guy in the 70s to measure chess players and to measure zero-sum skills. So it's used in esports, it's used in chess. But what you now also have, and again, my non-tech mind found this out, they're scoring LLMs. So you have this thing called an LLM arena, and all of these LLMs are tested against each other. And they're mapping on this scale, they're mapping the LLMs out there against the cost of usage, right? And again, this is the only Google Kool-Aid slide we'll drink, but it shows that Gemini excels in all of these areas, right? Why is this relevant? We're making a pretty big bet building a lot of our foundation on Google, right? And it's important to consider, if you're doing that, are you making the right choice for technology? Are you using the right platforms out there, right? You see the little deep sea guy sitting out there, but this moves really fast. I gave the same presentation I did today in January in London. This thing looks completely different. That shows how fast it's moving, right? Only takeaway for you guys, things are moving fast. Google has got you. And it's an important thing to consider, right? I mean, thinking about it more and looking at how we work with AI within Incubeta, right? We're not replacing people. We're enhancing solutions, we're enhancing ways of working, and we're predominantly making information or complex information more easily distributed towards our clients and internally, right? There's super nice use cases Google has built. I'm sure most of you have played with Notebook LM. I think it's one of the coolest ways that Google is really bringing the power of AI to complex data sets. You have all these complex data, I think they call it deep research. You have this deep research agent that Google has. It's fantastic, you know? I mean, we use it a lot to argue with us or against us for certain topics, right? Absolutely fantastic to leverage like that. You have other guys out there like Anthropic, right? They build these really strong marketing analyst agents. And that's scary, right? We look at these agents, we're like, fuck, you know, this is work that we used to charge our clients a whole bunch of money for. And it would take it weeks. And you have these agents out there, and it takes 5 minutes. Yeah, it's scary, but it's exciting at the same time, guys. So that's almost how we need to approach this. It feels like an industrial revolution hitting us. How do we do that? We do that by being accurate first and foremost, right? I mean, ultimately, the strength of your data foundation and how clean your data is, it sort of predicts your whole journey here, right? I mean, we use the words trash in, trash out a lot. I mean, if you don't have your data foundation shored up, if you don't have the right confidence, if you don't have the stuff cleaned up and nicely organized, again, it's boring. And it's usually what our clients don't want to speak to us about. They want to speak about fancy Gen AI stuff, right? Not about this stuff. This is way more important. You know, this is really where it starts. Having accurate data, having it accessible in a reliable way, making sure it's structured the right way, you know, super crucial. AI will play a big role in here as well. I mean, we believe that a lot of the ETL platforms out there today will look very different a few years from now, just because of the role AI will play in structuring data, organizing data, cleaning data, shoring it all up. And ultimately, this accuracy will help us to focus on what really matters, right? Really cutting through the clutter. Agility is important, and I had to drop this statistic in there. I know there's some publishers in the room. I don't want to kill your business, but there's just so much happening, right? I'm not sure if you guys saw the Cloudflare CEO. He released some statistics, and I'm going to read them up. So Cloudflare, of course, sit on top of all of these web requests that go to websites, right? So 10 years ago, the crawl ratio to visit ratio of a Google crawler to a website a visitor Google sent somebody was 2-to-1. So the crawler stopped by 2 times and Google dropped a visitor off on your doorstep 1 time, right? That's 10 years ago. 6 months ago, it was 6-to-1. And today it's 18-to-1. So the Google crawler stops by 18 times to enrich these fantastic AI overviews that we all have. And they drop a visitor once at the doorstep, right? That sounds pretty bad, but with OpenAI, 6 months ago it was 250-to-1. It's 1,500-to-1 today. Anthropic is even worse. It was 6,000-to-1 6 months ago, and it's 60,000-to-1 today. What do these numbers mean? These numbers mean that all the stuff we've been measuring is going away. You know, I mean, it doesn't necessarily matter anymore if somebody visits our website or if somebody visits our app, right? I mean, the whole world of content distribution is changing. But let's not forget, it's not only content, right? It's e-commerce as well. I'm not sure if you guys saw what Google announced at Google Marketing Live, where there's just this checkout function right inside of Gemini, right inside of Google, you know? Good luck with your UX and your packaging and your on-site discounts and harvesting email addresses. It's gone, guys. It's gone. Google is gonna dictate what dress somebody wants to buy, and you're lucky if you're allowed to sell it to them. I polarized to make the point, but we got to understand that this stuff is really deep reaching, and it's gonna adjust everything, the core foundations to how marketing works. Don't wanna make you guys worried. There's really good opportunities in here, but it's changing. Why do I mention this? Because in measurement, this agility piece is really important, right? We have to understand that the evolution we're in and the turns of the wheel that we'll see, let's say, within the next 6, 12, 24, 36 months, will probably be bigger than the last decade in online marketing, I think, where we were all tied to cookies, websites, we brought in apps, we thought apps were crazy. The real crazy stuff is about to come, right? Just to get us all ready. How do you get there? By making sure you're ready, by making sure, like I said, your structure is the right way, you have always on data availability, and you can really, and this is where we are shepherds, where we can help our organization understand what's going on. Agnostic measurement is really important as well, right? I mean, we see, well, I had long discussions with Google about this. I think to an extent Google might be killing the open internet, which is sad to me. But walled gardens are here, right? And they're here to stay, and they're only going up. And that's tricky as a measurement person, right? Because how do you navigate that the right way? So we almost believe in well, being agnostic is really important there. Embracing what the walled gardens can bring and teach and show you is really important as well. But really making this cross-channel measurement exercise like we used to do before, with cookies branching over everything, I'm not sure that's coming back, guys. I don't think so, to be honest. I mean, it's dealing with the walled gardens, it's dealing with the remnants that used to be the open internet. Let's see what's left in a few years. And really understanding how that stacks together, right? The good thing is, with Meridian out there, with Robin out there, there's 2 proper MMM platforms to work with. That's really exciting. But again, you need your robust data setup in place, and you need to structure your measurement teams to really work beyond models and platforms and interfaces, right? And not just your measurement teams. I think I'm building a bridge for myself. The data availability is really important, right? Where do we see our clients really drive value out of the investments they're doing in the measurement stack? The moment non-measurement people understand what the hell's going on in there. The moment non-data scientists can actually go in and run prompting that actually gives them the data insights, right? That's a really, really key difference. We almost need to work as measurement experts in this room to democratize what we do as much as possible. The more we do that, the better measurement works in the organization of our client. It needs to approach their needs, their format, their way of working, right? You're not going to get a CFO to stick to your way of how you're measuring marketing. It's not going to happen. You're going to have to adjust to their world, right? That's really important. And we believe that wider access means faster velocity in your data and much greater impact. So this is an important thing to consider. This is where agentic AI will play a big role. Again, only here, right? Having the stuff in place, setting up your foundation, getting your models in place. This is where agents start playing a big role. At this point in time, disseminating the information to the right stakeholders with the right data point. I saw Gartner release a study, I think it was today or yesterday, where they said 40% of Gen AI projects fail. I thought it was pretty optimistic. I think many more fail, to be honest, because clients don't know what the hell they're doing. They're starting somewhere at the end, and they don't have the right stuff in place. Maybe this is a nice fireside chat conversation for you guys to have, because this is where the rubber hits the road, guys. This is really crucial, right? And ultimately, the actionability is really important, right? And this is where we need to start looking at measurement as a driver and a predictor of future success, but also as something that acts, right? I mean, the fact that we see things in a Looker dashboard and that a person then needs to log into a platform to make a change, that's really old-fashioned when you think about it, right? I mean, it's how we functioned for 20 years, but it's not how it should be. We need to bring these things way closer together, and we need to make sure that not that the systems run everything, but drive the systems the right way, you know? Make sure that the proactive adjustments are made, suggested, and can be executed by these platforms, right? That's how you bring measurement to the heart of an organization. It's how you bring data to the heart of the organization. And ultimately, this is where we want to get to, right? Where we want to get it to. Things need to be impactful and they need to be insightful. You cannot only focus on impact if you're not providing the insights. That's building a black box. If you only focus on insights and you're not driving impact, well, you're not really nailing what we're supposed to be doing, right? So this is ultimately, to the C-suite, to the boardroom, this is what people are looking for. How can you drive impact, but how can you give me the grip that I know what the hell's happening, right? It's really, really important. What can we do? What can you do? You know, I mean, curiosity is always one of the first things I list. Being curious and experiment with what's out there. There's so much stuff out there, guys. And sometimes I look at people in our organization, but I do it myself as well. It's like a rabbit in the headlights, right? There's just so much going on. Where do you start? It doesn't really matter. Just start somewhere, you know, do something. And lots of our clients are like that as well. They've heard about these things and they're working through it and they really know what to do. They're a bit confused. Start experimenting, right? It's really, really important. And I think what's really important as well, and I hear this stuff a lot, specifically when it comes to AI, right? I tried it and it didn't work. I hear that a lot. Doesn't matter, try again, figure it out. The space is moving so incredibly quickly that what didn't work 6 months ago, there's a high likelihood of it working today. This is a really bad one. I hate this one as well. It's faster if I do it myself. That's like the worst, guys. Please don't say that in your lives ever, you know? I mean, you need to embrace the element of automation, embrace the element of scale, and understand if you spend more time in building a machine or an automation around something that can drive things forward, that's how you win. And then the last one, I have no time for it. That's even worse. You know, if you have no time for experimentation and curiosity as a measurement expert, it's challenging, you know. Speak to your manager, speak to your shareholders, speak to your board, but that's the wrong way of approaching it in the time and age we're in. Think beyond the measurement and data silo. This is what I just said. This is really where the next frontier of measurement will be, I think. It's really important. And be a data steward, right? And what I mean with that is make sure that we're at the forefront of this, right? Your finance teams or your fulfillment teams or maybe even your creative teams, they're not at the forefront of this. So if you're the front runner of this, if you're introducing these new ways of working, these new ways of thinking, that's exactly how you can help your own organizations, your own businesses, your clients' businesses, right? So that's, I think, the last part I want to leave you guys with. And that's what I wanted to tell you guys today. Thank you very much.